put down what a few of those adjustments for sideline. So after we did these stretches, right? We did the hip circumduction one way and then the other. That we want to make sure that we're going to do a couple things. We can come up, like I mentioned, and make sure that the leg is, for a first adjustment, is coming out at a right angle and stabilizing at the shoulder. Or else we can bring our leg across like this so that the leg will slide down our leg and work directly over the work a little bit more. And we're going to stabilize with the hand here. And this way, since we're right over, we can stabilize the shoulder a little bit clearer. And then just lean forward. Easy. Now, if you're working with someone who's pretty tight, and one good indicator of that is when you start bringing the leg over the midline, that the shoulder starts coming up really quickly. You can change the acclimation of the stretch by bringing their arm down, palm up, close to their side, and stabilizing with your foot at the wrist. But nice, easy pressure. Okay. That way, it frees both hands up to bring the leg across for the stretch. The stretch is a little bigger. And you can place one hand on or around the sacrum or the hip, and the other hand on the side of the leg, and you can easily just move them into rotation this way. So depending on body types and things, that's what determines what you use. Okay. All right. And did I want to show any other thing? In bringing it in the sideline, you can just step over and bring them in the sideline, right? And then across. And you want to try to keep a nice line here. Like if that leg was one continuous line through their torso and here, so that you get a nice stretch. That you don't want the arm up too high, but more parallel to their body and the ground, so that you can just lean and get a nice stretch. So the next portion then is sideline, obviously. So now that we're in sideline, and we're going to do a little movement sideline. So we just stretched like this. We're going to hang on to the arm and come around the back and place the arm down. Now, you want to try to keep them in a nice alignment. So I'm just going to move your head back a little bit. And again, like I said, make sure that you have a bolster here so that their spine is a nice straight line of support. That we're going to come and support their body with our leg and take our foot and place it over their head. Because what we're going to do is use this portion of our palm to go right into the temporal area. So we're going to do some nice compression like this, leaning in with a straight arm. And we're compressing in a crescent moon shape from just on the outside of their eye and around the back of their ear. So you're getting nice compression into the temporal area. This also compresses a meridian that is primarily on the side of the body, which is the gallbladder meridian. So I'm just leaning in with an extended arm. I'm not pushing, I'm just leaning in. Around. And then you're going to come, again, supporting them with your legs and sit in seiza. Okay, so they have nice support now, so their body doesn't have to exert any effort to stay in this position. And your knees are usually about the same level with their shoulders. And you're going to hook your arm underneath their top arm and cup the top of their shoulder. So you have nice control here. So our compressions came into the side of the head and ended right at the occipital ridge here by their mastoid process. And we're going to pick up by using our thumb and placing it up underneath their occipital ridge. And we're going to place our thumb there and then depress their shoulder, so not only does the muscle get a nice stretch, but you're doing some nice digital compression up underneath their occipital ridge. And you're just going to work up underneath that occipital ridge back towards the spine. It's not a very long journey at all. The pressure's okay? So you don't apply a lot of direct pressure here, but rather you just pressure, moderate pressure, and then pull down. So it's like a pinning and a stretching. Nice. And then you're going to do some petrissage here into the side of the neck. Working your way down towards the shoulder. And then we're going to intertwine our hands on top of the shoulder. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale we're going to lean back so they get a nice stretch of the neck muscles. So if their head and neck are tight, usually their head comes with you. If they're looser, their head will be down more so they get a bigger stretch. So you do that 2 or 3 times. And then you're going to go right. See how your hands are like this, then you separate, and you're going to go right in range of motion, shoulder. Nice full range of motion. One way, then the other. So one hand is in front, one hand is in back. And then you let the shoulder fold forward. Now y'all shift. Back here so you can see something. After a range of motion, you loosen the shoulder girdle up, and then you, like I said, you let the shoulder fall forward. And when you let it fall forward, it makes the vertebral border of the scapula a little bit more pronounced. So you're going to, and here's the superior angle of the scapula. Your fingertips are going to come up underneath the lip of the scapula. You're going to hook underneath, and then you're going to bring the scapula onto your fingertips, and then just go to the side. So you're hooking up underneath the scapula, and you get a nice stretch. Okay, man? Stretching to the side. You're working your way down to the inferior angle. Last 2 moves. We're going to stretch the front of the chest, mostly pec minor. I'm going to lift the arm up, and then forward, and then back. Feel that good? That's a really good stretch. Open up the chest, pec minor. So again, it's not just straight back, but you want to replicate the angle of the pec minor. The pec minor attaches on the coracoid process, and it's more of a 45-degree angle from the center of the chest to the coracoid process. So when you bring the arm up, you want to move it forward a little bit and then back, and that's what stretches the pec minor. And then we're going to end with this move where we bring it back. And we stick our elbow up on as high as you can in the crease, and just sink in and down. Yeah. So you're addressing here the teres muscles, muscles that also help free up the shoulder girdle, because they're one of the sits muscles in the shoulder. Pressure's okay. So you move it up like that, and you take your tip of your elbow and come up as high as you can in that crease, and sink down towards it. To give it a stretch, then we're going to end this sequence by putting the arm overhead, which stretches that area, and then it'll allow us to move into the next segment. Okay? But we're just going to do that much.